you could have not gone to that first meeting, and where do you think you'd be?
Yeah. I sat outside for a while, to be honest. But I did it. I went.
Yep.
Yeah. You're never too old, I feel like,
Absolutely.
Coming from the background that I had, you're never too old. And if you have a passion for it, it's just there. So go with it.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your fearless host, Angie Scott.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. I have a special guest with me this week, TJ Gramberg. TJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Are you in Wisconsin?
Yep. Northern. Yep.
Great. And you're originally from Minnesota, though, right?
Yes. Transplant.
Right. Go Minnesota. But are you a Vikings fan or a Packers fan?
No.
Neither.
I'm a fishing fan.
Yeah, you're too busy fishing to be able to worry about football on Sundays.
All right.
Well, good deal. Well, if you wouldn't mind, give listeners who aren't familiar with you just a little backstory on your history on getting into the sport of fishing and the outdoors.
Sure. So I did not fish. It just wasn't part of my upbringing. When I met my husband, he actually took me out ice fishing on a date. And that was, I think, my third experience fishing ever. And it was fun, but I was really leery of the ice and the cracking and all that stuff. So, he's really been instrumental in this whole thing for me because he's encouraged from the very beginning everything. My interest in learning as much as I can. He often says that I fish a lot different than he does. I fish in different ways because I've not learned like old school ways like he has. He's been fishing his whole life. So for me, it's a lot of like learning from the internet, learning from YouTube videos, learning from friends like the Wisconsin Women Fish Group. And I just can't get enough.
So how long ago was that you got introduced to it?
About 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you've really come a long way in 6 years. That's awesome. So, and I first met you at a Wisconsin Women Fish event. I remember you were doing a little seminar on different bass lures and like showing how to use them and stuff. And so talk about your journey in this short amount of time, kind of going from somebody who never really grew up fishing, which is a little bit unusual for somebody that grew up in Minnesota and Wisconsin, like,
Yeah.
At least in my experience, most people have families, that are really into it up there because there's, not a whole lot else to do, especially in the wintertime when it gets really cold. You got to find those activities to keep you busy. So,
Sure.
but kind of talk about your journey in this 6 short years of going from someone who really didn't have much experience to just getting introduced to it and becoming this person who just is wanting to soak up all the information that you can get your hands on, and to now where you've actually got sponsors, that's just incredible.
Yeah. I guess, like starting out with my husband and stuff, and getting my kids into the schools out here. My daughter had Ricky Pardon as an ice fishing coach, and that is how I got with the Wisconsin Women Fish Group. Ricky was really encouraging knowing that I didn't have a lot of experience, but we used to go and help out with the kids' tournaments and stuff like that. So, joining the group was a big step in continuing with the fishing, but not necessarily with my husband. So that was a big step for me. I'm a very nervous person, especially around new people. And so I went to one of the events, and I think it was the crappie fishing at Deerfoot over in Hayward. And I met a lot of women there that they just wanted to help, and they wanted to show you what they were doing, and they were so easy to talk to. And I think being part of a group made it a lot easier for me to kind of branch out and want to do more and want to keep learning and fish different ways, fish different fish. So that being said, that kind of brought me to, one thing that I really liked was bass fishing, largemouth. And when I would go to these events, and I would have women asking me questions, and I by no means have all the answers or whatever, but they would ask me what I knew and how I fished for them and how I was successful. And that kind of led to Barb asking me to teach the bass class. At fish camp. So, and that happened year after year. I really enjoyed teaching all those women and learning new things, and then showing them that the next year. And one day, DSG had posted a thing on Facebook about looking for field staff. And I said, hey, I'll apply for it. And at that point, I didn't have a fishing bio. I didn't have a fishing resume. I didn't have anything. So I had to learn that. I had to learn a lot about the whole social media side of having sponsors. And that was a really good experience for me to get my feet wet.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when you made that announcement, getting on board with DSG, and that was such a huge time. I was like, way to go, TJ. That is so awesome. Talk a little bit. I want to get into DSG a little bit, but let's go back and talk a little bit about Wisconsin Women Fish. They have a program that I think and I think Women Anglers in Minnesota has the same type of thing, but they have a master angler program. And I think that that's a great way to encourage women to kind of branch out and target different species. Talk a little bit about what that program is all about.
So there's all different species of fish, anywhere from, perch to sturgeon, and all different sizes. It really is such a good thing because, specifically for me, it helps me set personal goals. And so, there's a species that I just don't know much about. I don't know how to fish them. I can set a goal for myself to say, this year I want to catch a master angler walleye. And it kind of sets everything in motion for opening those doors to learn more. So with the program, you catch a fish, you measure it, you take a hero picture, you submit it. And at the end of the year, or at fish camp, they do a ceremony where you're awarded a master angler pin for every species that you've caught in that is within the measurements. And it's just such a great program to get people really interested and competitive, know.
Yeah, and motivating too. Gives you an excuse or a reason to get out there instead of just sitting at home. You know, you're like, I gotta go get this master angler. I gotta work on this. What's like the echelon? Isn't there like a grand, like if you catch like all the species, or what is it that's like the top award?
Yep, you'll get Angler of the Year, and that's for the person that's caught the most species.
Gotcha.
So I think this past year there was a tie with, I want to say it was 6 species.
Okay.
And so with that, St. Croix Rods sponsors that. So when you win that award, you get a plaque, you get a St. Croix rod. And it's just a really big accomplishment.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about, you mentioned DSG, and I want to mention them because I remember when they first came on the scene, and it was like finally a company putting out gear for women. I mean, you know, things are starting to change. The tide's starting to change. We still have a long ways to go, but I think DSG coming out and making a big splash like they have and getting their products into Fleet Farms and other major retailers is such a big deal. Talk about that company a little bit and why it's important for you to be affiliated with them.
It's a great company. It's products made by women for women, and there aren't that many companies like that out there. So that's huge. I think they're definitely setting a trend for these other companies, especially with the clothing being more woman friendly. The shape of the clothing and how it can be used. Like I have the, I believe it's the Arctic suit. And anyway, they have like the drop bib, right? So going to the bathroom, huge.
Yeah.
It's
game changer. You don't have to get completely undressed just to go to the bathroom.
Yep.
Very nice. Any other favorite pieces from DSG that you have?
Oh gosh, I'm in love with hats. So I have a lot of hats. Their mittens are awesome. They just have such great products. I have shirts, I have hunting pants, I've got everything from them, and it just it fits great, and it works. It's not pretty for her, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
functional. It definitely works. So yeah.
Great. Well, I'll put a link to their website in the show notes for this episode so people can go check out their stuff if you're not already familiar with DSG. And another cool thing I wanted to mention is you're also now on the field staff for another company called HT Enterprises, and you're the first female to ever be added to their field staff. So way to go. Blazing the trail. Talk a little bit about HT Enterprises and how you got on board with them.
Sure. HT is a company that has all kinds of fishing equipment. Everything from lures to rods to, like, I have this really cool thing right here. It's called the Siberian Ice Box. Okay. And it is for bait. It is for storage. It is for rod holders. It is so awesome. I love this box. They have so many great products, and they're products that help you be successful. You know, that's like the biggest thing. I was having a talk with one of the guys with the company, and you know, I said, like, one of the biggest things for me is you don't make the junky pink poles for girls that break the first time you use them. You know what I'm saying? So they have a lot of products that are just versatile. And coming on with them, I have a friend who is already on their staff. They were having a conversation about getting women to join them to show everybody that it's not just products for men. And he had asked me if I would consider joining based on my success and my passion for the sport. And thought for sure as a female angler that I have a good presence and I could help them further.
Yeah, get more word out to other women about their products. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for being the first one on their field staff. So
Thank you.
You kind of touched on this a little bit in your story with both DSG and HT Enterprises, but if you could give just a couple tips maybe for other women out there kind of in your same position where they're super passionate about the sport, they have these products that they love to use and would love to start promoting them, like any tips on how you could kind of take that relationship to the next level like you have?
I think the first thing is no matter what you're using, before you're even applying for these positions, is start tagging these companies on social media. Show them that you're using their stuff before you're even applying. And showing the things that you believe in, not just product pushing. I think that's huge. Having a good social media following, not posting inappropriate stuff, that kind of stuff. You want to have, you want to put together a fishing bio. You want to put together a fishing resume, like what you've accomplished, what kinds of things you're part of. And the more you can put together, the more it just shows them when you send them that you have the qualities that they're looking for.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everything you said there. And maybe for me too, I could throw in like building those personal relationships with the people that work at these companies, and go to some of the trade shows and things like that, like the St. Paul Ice Show or other shows like that. And I would say when you introduce yourself to them for the first time, don't immediately start with, "Hey, I want to be on your field staff."
Right.
Like build the relationship first. Show them, by tagging and doing other things on your social media, what products you're using, why you love them, and then over time, I think it's just it becomes a natural progression, and they want to add you because they see your passion and your commitment to their products, so
sure.
You're definitely going about it the right way, it sounds like, which is great. And another company I know that you work with is near and dear to my heart as well, so I definitely want to talk about them, is Al's Goldfish Lure Company. How did you first discover Al's?
Actually, they had put their feelers out in the Wisconsin Women Fish group looking for female anglers who fished for northern pike. And I jumped. So that was how I first got into contact with them. And it's been awesome ever since. Yeah,
Jeff and Mandy, for those of you that don't know, Al's is run by Jeff and Mandy Dubwin. Mandy is a female co-owner, so that's awesome. Their president is female. Al's has been around for a really long time. In fact, going in this year, when this episode will be airing, is the first week of January 2022, is their 70th year in the fishing industry. And so 7 decades of a lure, that says something right there.
Yeah, like these lures, they're more than just lures, though. It's like this company is about the successes you have with their lures, Yeah. And they're a USA-based company, which is huge.
Absolutely.
Huge. And so they've accomplished so much. 70 years is incredible.
Yeah, and now with Jeff and Mandy on board and continuing to grow and branching out into different, types of lures and stuff. I know you've used them for all sorts of different fishing, not just for pike. I mean, they catch about any kind of fish, and ice fishing even. Yep. What kind of success have you had with their lures ice fishing?
Oh gosh, we've caught everything from perch to northern, largemouth, crappie. Gosh, not last year, the year before that, we actually got a muskie, a tiger muskie through the ice.
Oh wow.
On one of the L's. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I sent the picture to Mandy and she's like, "Oh, cool. What's that?" And I'm like, "That's not oh cool. That's a tiger muskie."
That's awesome. I told the story recently about, I guess I had Kenny on the show recently. He's got the Kenny's Christmas kit out with owls and different kits. But I was telling him the story about we were in La Crosse, Wisconsin with Mandy fishing on the Angler Quest on the I think it's the Black River. Is that what that's called there? That branches off the Mississippi in La Crosse or Pearl, or I think it's the Black River, I want to say. Anyway, we were out there and we're fishing, throwing kind of beating the bank with whatever we were using. And Mandy's like just kind of throwing out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, bless her heart, she's probably not going to catch anything. And darn if she doesn't hook into a nice walleye with her Al's goldfish. None of us are catching anything,
Yeah.
So very cool. Yeah. What
I gotta show you this.
Oh yeah. Let's see what you got there.
This is my small collection of Al's.
Wow. That's awesome.
I'm telling you, they work any way you use them.
Yeah.
Dead sticking, everything. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
What do you think, ice fishing, what do you think makes them so successful? Is it the flash?
I think it's just everything. The action, the flash. Yep.
Very cool.
They just have a great look to them, and like the flutter that you get when they're dropping is huge.
Yeah, I love the action that Els has. If you guys haven't checked it out, definitely, go to Bass Pro. They're all over the place at Bass Pro now. Go to their website.
Yep. Yeah.
Check them out. It's worth.
Yep, they have some really cool things. I got this scarf from them. I love it. It's my favorite.
So soft. Yeah,
it is. I know.
Yep. They've got different apparel and other accessories too. I love their little the protectors for your treble hooks.
The hook bonnets?
Yeah, the hook bonnets. Those are so nice to have because I'm always getting my treble hooks hooked on whatever you could possibly think of. So those have been a huge game changer for me, especially when I travel and stuff. So and for storage, and they don't get all tangled up in each other. alsgoldfish.com. Go check it out. Go check out their variety of products. Get you some. I recommend. Do you have a couple favorites that you recommend? Like I love the original goldfish in silver and in gold. I don't think you can beat either one of those. Do you have any favorites?
I like the original. I really like the 49ers. Especially for ice fishing. I use the big one ice fishing and not just the little ice fishing 49er.
Okay.
But I think those and the Northern edition are my favorite ones.
Yeah. And I love
all year round.
We got to go up to Cape Cod on a little trip with some of the Wisconsin women fish ladies, and one of the guys, Todd Carrere, who's a writer up there, he got to design his own Al's goldfish lure, and we were using that to catch striper from the beach or I guess the coast or whatever. And that thing works.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And I mean, you could cast it forever. It's got some good weight to it, and we caught quite a few. So yeah, again, definitely go check them out. They're good for all I don't know of a more versatile lure, honestly, off the top of my head, that you can fish saltwater, freshwater, and catch all the different species. So
Yeah.
I'm not big into trout fishing. I don't know about you, but I know that they're really good trout lures as well.
No, I'm not a trout.
Yeah.
But everything else.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Down here in Florida, I've been catching a lot of speckled trout. I haven't thrown an L's yet. I probably should try it. It's pretty shallow and rocky, so I'm a little bit afraid of getting it hung up. Because even my swim bait, I get that hung up sometimes, so I can usually get it off. So, but I may have to give it a try.
I think if you use a lighter one, use a lighter one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll definitely have to give that a shot. So what else do you have going on? I know you've got some big plans coming up this season. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this winter we're planning on ice camping for the first time. Super excited about that. There are some of these lakes out here that I just don't want to leave. So we're gonna just stay.
Yeah.
And so super excited about that. As far as spring and summer, oh gosh. So I started Bent Rod Adventures last year, which is a guiding company. And we guide out on the Clam and Siren for big channel catfish. And so originally I started it because I wanted the women in the Wisconsin Women Fish group to come out and learn how to fish these catfish. And not only that, but to get their master anglers. Like I was so excited to see people come out, get their master anglers and go home and be so proud. And these fish can fight. And it's been so awesome seeing that. So last year we had 30 women with 65 master angler catfish.
Wow.
That came out.
It's a lot of catfish, big catfish.
It's a lot of catfish. And, you know, my husband and I, we did a lot of learning out there and trying to get our friends on to fish. And so we were so successful, way more successful than I thought we would be. And so this year we actually have 57 women signed up already.
Wow.
And then we have some other trips with their husbands and the kids and stuff like that. So we do have more trips planned. But as far as the women go, I definitely have a greater amount this year. And I'm so excited to see what we catch.
Very cool. I'm excited too. Do you have like a website for that or just socials?
Right now? Yeah, right now it's just on Facebook. I wanted to keep it more friend-based in the beginning because we have some plans, a direction for it to go in, but we're just not quite there yet. So for now, you know, it's kind of word of mouth and friends and family and stuff like that. So if you do have an interest, you can check out some of the fish that we've caught. Look on Facebook. And you can even send me a message, you know, on there. So if you're interested in it.
Great. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. And just a thought I had, you know, when we first started this conversation, you talked about the first time you went fishing and it was ice fishing and you were kind of nervous about the cracking and whatnot. And now here you are, you're going to be camping on the ice. So clearly you've gotten over that fear.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So anybody who's in that position, look at TJ, look at her progression she's made in 6 years, and you can get started at any time. And, you know, there's so many resources out there to help you and help you learn. Great people like TJ and other members of groups like Wisconsin Women Fish or Women Anglers of Minnesota, or maybe you have a group local to where you are that, you know, you can connect with and step out of your comfort zone, give it a try, meet people. And, you know, you could have not gone to that first meeting and where do you think you'd be?
Yeah. I sat outside for a while, to be honest, but I did it. I went. Yeah. You're never too old. I feel like, coming from the background that I had, you're never too old. And if you have a passion for it, it's just there. So go with it.
All right. Well, what an inspiration. Appreciate you being on the show. That's what this show is all about, is to share stories of amazing women like you who, put themselves out there and love to watch the journey. And I can't wait to see all the pictures of all these catfish coming up this year.
Yes.
And all the women that you're going to have be able to share that experience with. So,
yeah. Thank you.
Very cool. Thanks again for taking some time out to be on the show. And we'll definitely stay in touch and continue to follow you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.